You spent decades planning trips around school holidays, work schedules, and everyone else's calendar. But once you hit your 60s, the rules of travel quietly flip in your favor. Cruising suddenly becomes one of the most comfortable, affordable, and low-stress ways to see the world. In this video, we'll break down 11 hidden benefits that only show up after 60, so you can stop wondering if you're too old and start asking where to sail next on your next cruise. Why cruising after 60 hits different. You still hear people joke that cruises are floating retirement homes or, on the other side, non-stop party boats. The truth is way less dramatic and way more useful for you. Cruise lines know a huge chunk of their passengers are over 60, and they design a lot of the experience around comfort, routine, and safety. That doesn't mean it's boring. It means you get proper beds, elevators everywhere, staff who are used to working with older guests, and activities that aren't just loud pool games and nightclubs. And here's the big mindset shift. In your 30s and 40s, travel is about squeezing everything into limited time. In your 60s, it's about protecting your energy while still seeing as much of the world as you can. And cruising matches that perfectly. You unpack once, the scenery keeps changing, and a full team quietly handles the heavy lifting in the background. So let's get into the specific hidden benefits you only unlock after 60, starting with the discounts most people never even know to look for. Hidden benefit 1. Quiet senior deals you only see if you ask. One of the biggest surprises after 60 is that your age quietly turns into a discount code. Cruise lines don't shout this from the rooftops, but many of them offer lower fares or little extras specifically for older guests on certain sailings. Sometimes it's called a 55-plus rate or senior special. You won't see a big banner saying grandparents sale, but when you enter your date of birth or tick the senior box while pricing a cruise, suddenly the same cabin can drop in price or come with a little onboard credit attached. These deals are usually limited to specific dates and cabin types, and they change all the time. That's why so many people miss them. They just accept the first price they see. If you're flexible with when you sail, checking a few different weeks and making sure your correct age is in the system can save you hundreds over the full trip. On top of that, a lot of older travelers forget they've earned extra leverage through memberships. Things like senior-focused organizations, auto clubs, and loyalty programs you've had for years can sometimes unlock small discounts or onboard credit once you mention them at booking. Younger travelers don't have access to any of this yet, but if you're over 60 and you're willing to say, "By the way, do you have any senior rates or member perks available?" you're suddenly playing with benefits they can't touch. Hidden benefit 2. You finally control the calendar. One of the biggest power shifts after 60 is this. You're no longer chained to everyone else's schedule. You don't have to travel in July just because schools are out, or squeeze a whole trip into one long weekend. And cruise pricing quietly rewards that freedom. When families are locked into summer holidays, Christmas, and Easter, ships are packed and prices climb. But those random weeks in May, September, October, or even early December, fewer kids, calmer ships, and fares that can drop hundreds of dollars per person compared to peak dates. That flexibility also changes how the ship feels. You notice fewer loud crowds at the pool, easier elevator rides, shorter lines at the buffet, and a lot more people who are closer to your age and pace. The whole atmosphere shifts from spring break energy to something more relaxed and civilized. You can even tailor the climate to your body. If the heat wipes you out, you can choose cooler weather cruises outside the peak of summer. If your joints hate the cold, you can head toward the sun while everyone else is still stuck at their desks. You spend years bending your travel around everyone else's life stage. Now, cruising lets you use your own timeline as the advantage, and it pays off in both comfort and cost. And once you're on board, you'll notice something else. A lot of the ship is quietly built with your body and mobility in mind, even if nobody says it out loud. Hidden benefit 3. The ship is quietly built for your body. If you haven't cruised in a while, you might be shocked by how much of the ship is designed to make life easier on older joints, knees, and backs. A lot of that work is subtle, but once you start noticing it, you can't unsee it. Most modern ships are basically floating ramps and elevators. You've got multiple lifts in every elevator bank, wide corridors, and step-free routes into restaurants, theaters, lounges, and pool areas. There are grab rails along walls and staircases, handrails on both sides, and plenty of places to sit down when you need to catch your breath. Cabins are another big one. Many ships have accessible or mobility-friendly rooms with wider doors, more open floor space, showers you can walk straight into, and extra grab bars. And even if you don't need a full wheelchair-friendly cabin, asking for a room near an elevator or midship, where movement is gentler, can make a huge difference on how you feel by day 5. Outside the cabin, you'll see reserved seating areas in theaters for people who use canes, walkers, or wheelchairs. Shore excursions are often labeled by activity level, with options specifically designed for easy walking or minimal stairs. Now, none of this is advertised as for seniors only, but if you're over 60, you benefit from every bit of it. You're moving less, straining less, and saving your energy for the things that actually matter, like exploring ports and enjoying the shows. And if something does go wrong physically, there's another advantage most land trips just can't match. The ship's medical center is only a few decks away. Hidden benefit 4. Medical backup is only a few decks away. On a regular trip, if you start feeling unwell in a hotel or Airbnb, you have to guess where to go. Is there a clinic nearby? Will the taxi driver understand you? How long will you sit in a waiting room? That uncertainty alone can be stressful when you're over 60. On a cruise, help is built into the ship. There's a medical center on board with doctors and nurses who treat everything from stomach bugs and sprained ankles to blood pressure issues and sudden dizziness. They see a lot of older passengers every year, so they're used to dealing with age-related concerns and medications. The medical center isn't a full hospital, and serious emergencies still need treatment on land. But having trained staff, basic tests, and common medicines just a short elevator ride away is a huge safety net compared to staying in a random rental overseas. It also means you can get checked quickly if something feels off instead of waiting days and hoping it goes away. A simple visit early can stop a small issue from becoming the thing that ruins the rest of your trip. You still need travel insurance, and you should always talk to your own doctor before a big cruise. But knowing there's a medical team on the same ship you sleep on makes every port, every sea day, and every long walk on deck feel a lot less risky. Hidden benefit 5. A built-in social life at your speed. One of the biggest fears people have about traveling after 60 is feeling lonely or out of place. On a cruise, that worry drops way down because the ship quietly does a lot of the social work for you. From day 1, there are activities designed to bring people together without forcing anything. Trivia, dance lessons, card tournaments, book clubs, craft sessions, lectures, choir groups, veterans meetups, faith gatherings, solo traveler meetups. The schedule is packed with low-pressure ways to meet people who enjoy the same things you do. You don't have to be loud, outgoing, or glued to a phone to find your crowd. And the nice part is that you control the volume. If you wake up feeling social, you can join group activities, share a table at breakfast, or sit at the bar before dinner and chat with the same faces you've seen all week. But if you wake up tired, you can disappear into a quiet lounge with a coffee and a book, and nobody will chase you and ask why you're not at the pool party. For a lot of people over 60, especially those who are widowed, divorced, or traveling without their usual partner, this built-in social structure is a game changer. You're never stuck wondering where to go or whether you're welcome. There's always something happening at all different energy levels, and you can slide in or out whenever you want. And as you'll see next, the ship doesn't just help with company, it can also help you skip some of the worst lines when standing too long isn't really an option anymore. Hidden benefit 6. Priority help in lines if you actually ask. Here's a secret most people over 60 never use. The cruise line will often help you skip the worst lines if you tell them you need it. Not because of your age alone, but because of what usually comes with it. Sore knees, bad hips, balance issues, or trouble standing for long stretches. Cruise lines and ports normally have systems in place for guests who need extra assistance. That can mean shorter check-in lines, wheelchair or porter help, and smoother boarding and disembarkation. But they don't walk around guessing who needs it. You have to speak up before the cruise or at the terminal. Now, if you know you struggle with long queues, standing in security lines, or walking long distances, you, or your travel agent, can let the cruise line know ahead of time. At the port, you can also tell staff, "I can't stand for very long. Is there assistance available?" Often, they'll direct you to a separate seating area or a special assistance line and bring you through in a calmer, more controlled way. This isn't a trick to game the system. It's exactly what the system is there for. People whose bodies don't work like they used to. And younger travelers can't just claim it because they're impatient. But if you're genuinely struggling, using this help isn't being difficult. It's being smart, and it can save your energy for the fun parts of the cruise instead of wasting it in a hot, crowded terminal. If this is helping you see cruising after 60 in a new light, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the series. And tell me in the comments what worries you most about taking a cruise at your age. Hidden Benefit 7. No driving, no hauling, no constant packing. Think about every land trip you've ever done. You drag a suitcase through airports, into taxis, up hotel steps. You unpack. 2 nights later, you're stuffing everything back in, checking out by 11 a.m. and repeating the whole routine in the next city. By the time you get home, you've seen beautiful places, but your body feels like it lost the fight. Cruising completely flips that. You roll your suitcase onto the ship once, unpack into real drawers and closets, and that's it. Your cabin becomes your little apartment at sea. While you sleep, the ship moves you to the next destination. You wake up, pull back the curtains, and there's a brand new port outside, without you ever touching your luggage again. There's no driving unknown roads, no fighting with GPS, no hunting for parking in a foreign city, and no carrying your bags up cobblestone streets to some tiny rental. You're not dragging a suitcase on and off trains or sitting in a bus for hours between cities just to arrive exhausted. For anyone over 60, that's huge. Your knees, back, and energy levels don't have to spend half the trip doing logistics. The ship's crew handles the heavy lifting. They move your home to the next place while you enjoy dinner, a show, or an early night. So instead of your holiday becoming a test of stamina, it becomes what it should be at this stage of life. A comfortable base with the world delivered to your balcony door, one port at a time. Hidden Benefit 8. Shockingly simple budgeting on a fixed income. When you're working, you can sometimes throw money at problems and fix it later. After 60, a lot of people are on pensions, savings, or fixed income, and surprise costs hit a lot harder. That's where cruising quietly becomes your friend. On a normal land trip, every day is a guessing game. Hotel, meals, taxis, train tickets, tips, museum fees, surprise tourist taxes. It all adds up in little bites you don't see coming. You can budget, but it's very easy to overshoot without noticing until you're home. A cruise takes most of that chaos and wraps it into one number. Your cabin, your transportation between cities, most of your food, and your entertainment are all bundled into the fare. You know you'll have a bed, hot meals, shows, and somewhere to sit and relax every single day without swiping a card every 5 minutes. You can also choose how extra you want to be. If you're careful, you can skip drink packages, stick to included dining, and choose low-cost or DIY port days. But if you like splurges, you can decide in advance. One specialty restaurant, one big excursion, or one spa day. The point is, you're making those choices before you're tired, hungry, and standing outside an expensive restaurant with no other options. For anyone watching their spending, it's a relief to be able to look at one total, divided by the number of nights, and say, okay, that's what this really cost me per day. It turns a complicated, multi-country vacation into something predictable and controllable without giving up the good parts. Hidden Benefit 9. A safer bubble for solo and widowed travelers. Traveling alone after 60 can feel intimidating. You might worry about walking back to a hotel after dark, getting lost in a new city, or just feeling invisible in a crowd. But on a cruise, that all softens because you're inside a controlled bubble instead of scattered across a city. The ship has security, cameras in public areas, and staff who see you every single day. If you eat in the same dining room, go to similar activities, or sit in the same lounge, the crew and other guests start to recognize you. You're not just room 8232. You're the friendly face who likes early coffee, or the trivia regular who always knows the movie questions. If something feels off, you're never far from help. Guest services is open, security is around, and other passengers are nearby. You're meeting people in public spaces, not in back alleys or strange neighborhoods. You can join tables for dinner, sit with other solo travelers, or go on group excursions so you're not wandering port streets alone. For widowed or divorced travelers, this can be a gentle way back into seeing the world. You get companionship when you want it, privacy when you need it, and a lot more structure and backup than you'd have staying in a random hotel by yourself. Hidden Benefit 10. Multi-generational trips without burning out. A lot of people picture travel with family and immediately think noise, chaos, and grandparents chasing sugar-high kids around a theme park. On a cruise, multi-generational trips are built very differently. It can actually work in your favor. Kids and teenagers have whole zones designed just for them. There are supervised kids clubs, teen lounges, sports courts, and activities that keep them busy and happy for hours. Younger adults have bars, nightclubs, shows, and late-night snacks. And you get quiet lounges, adults-only sun decks, libraries, and peaceful corners where you can sip coffee or a cocktail in peace. You all share the same ship, but you don't have to be glued together 24/7. Maybe you join the family for breakfast and a morning excursion. Then you peel off for an afternoon nap or a spa visit while the younger ones hit the slides or the arcade. You meet again for dinner and the evening show, with everyone having stories from their own day. The hidden benefit is simple. You get to be a part of the memories without being the full-time babysitter or tour guide. The ship soaks up a lot of that energy, gives everyone something to do, and lets you decide how much or how little you take on. Instead of coming home exhausted from family duty, you come back with shared photos, inside jokes, and the feeling that you actually had a holiday too. Hidden Benefit 11. Test driving a longer travel lifestyle. Some people try one cruise in their 60s and realize something big. This isn't just a vacation style. It might be their ideal way to travel from now on. And cruising quietly gives you ways to test drive that idea without making any huge life decisions. You can book back-to-back cruises, where you stay on the same ship for 2 or more itineraries in a row. You can try repositioning cruises that move a ship from one region to another over many days. There are world cruises and long segments that let you see a big chunk of the globe in one extended journey. All of that lets you answer important questions. How does your body handle weeks at sea? How does your budget feel after a longer trip? Do you like the routine of ship life, the meals, the sea days, the rhythm of port then rest? For some people, the answer is once a year is perfect. For others, it becomes part of their retirement rhythm. One long cruise every year or two, using the ship as a comfortable, familiar base to explore new places without starting from scratch each time. You don't have to move onto a ship or reinvent your entire life, but knowing that you could travel longer with structure and support built in opens up options that might not have seemed realistic when you were younger. Now you've seen why cruising after 60 isn't a downgrade, it's an upgrade. Your age unlocks discounts, calmer sailings, extra support, and a way to see the world without beating up your body or your budget. If this helped you feel more confident about booking that next sailing, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments where you'd love to cruise next. Then click the next video on your screen and keep cruising smarter. Your voyage is just beginning.